weeks.
Absolutely.
When you say, patient safety concerns, what do you claim you've witnessed?
Well, without commenting on, individual cases, and more of a general thing, as a resident of Kildare myself, this is my hospital as well. It is my family's hospital as well, so I have concerns over them entering here. Delayed treatment due to the staff shortages and the overcrowding. This is putting pressure on the staff nurses to treat patients effectively and, safely.
What sort of delays? How long?
As you know, hospitals can change day to day. And, the numbers would vary. If you look at October 2014, the number of patients waiting on trolleys for a hospital bed compared to the same time in 2013, there's an increase of 71%. So there's huge overcrowding in the hospital. This puts pressure on staff to treat patients within an acceptable range of time. So unfortunately, there is delayed treatments at times.
Talk to me about the stress levels associated with nurses, because I've spoken to nurses in the past, not on this programme, but generally, who say that at the end of the working week they feel like collapsing. Is it as stressful as we're led to believe? And how has a staff shortage contributed to that stress?
It absolutely is. It's a very stressful environment to work in, but I have to reiterate, our daily goal is to provide safe, adequate patient care. Patients are our number one focus. But yes, absolutely, at the end of the day, I would feel, not at the end of a working week, at the end of a day, Shane, we would feel very deflated, extremely stressed at the fact that we cannot provide the care that we wish to provide to patients, more so than anything else.
And you are a nurse in Naas General. If I go into the A&E department now, how likely is it that I will be on a trolley?
It's quite likely, as I just mentioned, the figures just gone for October. We had 187 people last year in October waiting on a trolley for a hospital bed, versus we had 320 people just in the month of October alone waiting on a trolley for a hospital bed. Now, unfortunately, it's been a new practice to bring these trolleys onto wards. So these patients are just nursed on corridors on wards, which is completely undignified, unacceptable. It's a new practice to this hospital, and we're absolutely against it as staff nurses.
What do you say to your patients when they ask you, sorry, Nurse Muireann in Naas, why am I waiting? What do you say?
Unfortunately, you do have to explain the reality of it, and have to explain that of the severe crowding. The staff shortages. We have also, I must have mentioned, we have 46 beds within this hospital that are currently unfunded by the government. This is causing huge pressure on us. These beds are open day and night. There's 46 of them, and we're really calling out for the HSE and government for these beds to be funded. This would alleviate us hugely.
You mentioned the staff shortage. Now, when the union representative Derek Riley was on the show, he said that he had been speaking with HSE and Naas Hospital Management, and that they have committed to recruiting 25 extra nurses. I presume you'd welcome that?
Absolutely. All recruitment to this hospital is welcome. But in saying that, I believe there's some of those 25, a good proportion of those nurses already working within the hospital. I think approximately 17. So when you take that away from 25, we're still quite short, really, when you think of these nurses that are already working here.
You're
absolutely all welcome.
I presume you're taking part in the protest on Monday. It's a lunchtime protest from 1:00. Given the increase in beds or people on trolleys and the decrease in the number of beds available, is it something that's on the forefront of your mind and of other nurses' minds in Naas General when you go in the morning, that today is going to be a tough day, we're not going to have room for all the patients going to Naas?
Yeah, it's a huge concern of ours, Shane. As I said, we leave this job daily, our shift daily, very deflated, very angry at the system that we are treating patients like this in an undignified way. And we're very unhappy, and we're just calling out really to the HSE and to the government to have a look at this hospital, fund the unfunded beds, and provide us with nurses as a matter of urgency.
And just finally, would you have any advice or word of warning for someone who's going to be going to Naas Hospital?
I wouldn't, and I must just reiterate our lunchtime protest that's taken place on Mondays during lunchtime hours. So it's going to absolutely have no compromisation on patient care whatsoever. again, that's our forefront in our minds, you know. But, you know, as I said, I am from Maynooth, and this hospital would be one of our attachment areas. And I would, you know, I want to see my family attend this hospital and be treated safely and in a very dignified way.
But what do you say to someone who thinks, God, I have to go to Naas Hospital next week, or maybe they're on their way to A&E in Naas this morning? What do you say to them when they're listening to you going, I'm not going to get a bed, the nurses are demoralised, I could be waiting ages to get the treatment I need? What do you say to them?
Yeah, although we are demoralised and, as I said, deflated, we are professionals. We do come into this job on a daily manner, and we do provide the best care that we can provide within our resources. So that must be reiterated. You will be taken care of. That is our daily goal. I'm sure that's the daily goal of the management in this hospital as well, you know.
All right, okay. We'll wait and see what happens as a result of the protest, and we'll contact the HSE too this morning regarding this issue, which we've raised twice on the programme now this week. Muireann, thank you very much.